All right, let's jump right into this. I want you to take a second and travel back in time with me. Do you still remember those incredibly vivid and honestly sometimes agonizing years when you were maybe 13 or 14? You wake up one perfectly normal morning, you go to say something, and you suddenly realize that your usual, clear, predictable childhood voice has just vanished. In its place is this raspy, booming sound that feels completely alien. 1 second, it drops deep, echoing the gravity of a grown adult, and then at the absolute worst possible moment, it suddenly cracks into this silly, uncontrollable, wildly high squeal. In this explainer, we're going to look deeply at exactly why this happens, moving way beyond just the basic biology to uncover the profound psychological journey that's hidden right inside this everyday phenomenon. If you remember that time, you probably remember the overwhelming wave of feeling, well, just clumsy and totally embarrassed. Imagine being that young guy, already feeling super uncertain in a body that's changing overnight, and every single time you gather up the courage to speak up in class, your voice totally betrays you. It turns into an unpredictable squeak, which is instantly followed by those inevitable giggles and snickers from everyone around you. It is a deeply isolating experience. And because of this, so many young teenagers naturally just choose to withdraw. They get intensely quiet, speaking less and less, absolutely terrified of exposing this uncooperative, in-between voice to the world. It's a really painful retreat into silence, just to avoid that spotlight of embarrassment. Now, modern society usually looks at a boy's breaking voice as just a funny, awkward phase. We kind of write it off as an inconvenient glitch of puberty. But have you ever looked closely at the absolute genius of the human body and wondered, why on earth did nature design such a sudden, disruptive, and highly visible transformation? What if this isn't a glitch at all? What we're exploring today is the idea that a breaking voice is not just some routine physical milestone you have to endure. It is actually a profound biological transformation. It's a hardwired shift toward maturity that the body is silently executing to prepare a boy to become a man. Let's look at the biology of puberty, which is truly a magnificent upgrade. To understand the sheer scale of this biological mechanism, we can look to the findings of Dr. Marshall Schulman, a renowned voice specialist. His work proves that voice cracking is definitely not an error. It's actually the direct result of a massive, sudden surge of testosterone that floods a boy's body as he enters puberty. Beneath the surface, driven by that surge, the larynx, the sound box located right there in your throat, undergoes this dramatic physical expansion. It grows incredibly fast and actually tilts and pushes forward, forming that visible bump we all know as the Adam's apple. As these masculine hormones flood the system, they are literally building a brand new, rock-solid foundation for adulthood. Inside that expanding larynx, the vocal cords themselves are being fundamentally restructured, growing significantly thicker and much longer in a really, really short window of time. So here is the exact sequence we go through. First, the testosterone surges. Second, the larynx expands to make room for new growth. Third, the vocal cords lengthen and thicken up. But here is where the magic and, the awkwardness happens in step 4. Because this biological growth spurt happens so unbelievably fast, your brain and those fine, delicate muscles in the larynx simply do not have enough time to perfectly adjust to their brand new dimensions. Your brain is essentially still trying to play the old instrument, but the instrument has doubled in size. That temporary mismatch in neurological signaling and muscle memory is exactly what creates those awkward off-cue moments where the voice just suddenly cracks. Your body is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Think of it like a master artisan, meticulously tuning the strings of a cello. To really grasp the beauty of this physical transformation, I want you to picture a master artisan hard at work. Imagine those growing vocal cords not just as anatomical tissue, but literally as the fine strings of a magnificent, beautifully crafted cello. When the strings of this inner cello are short and thin, like they are in youth, they produce the high, incredibly clear pitch of a child. But as our biology, our master artisan gets to work, those strings suddenly grow longer and significantly thicker. They're being deliberately crafted to create much deeper, richer, and far more authoritative notes. So those cracks, the awkwardness, the wildly fluctuating pitches, that is simply the instrument being tuned in real time, preparing for life's most profound and resonant symphony. It is literally the sound of potential taking physical form. This brings us to its role as an ancient rite of passage. When we look at this whole phenomenon through the depth psychology of Carl Jung, we uncover a layer of meaning that is just incredibly profound. Jung understood deeply that the human journey requires transitions. Throughout history, almost every ancestral tribe had a formal initiation ritual. This was the definitive, structured moment when a young boy had to leave the safe, protective embrace of his childhood to step fully into the demanding world of men, learning to carry responsibility and actually shield his tribe. In this context, the clear, innocent voice of childhood quite literally has to shatter. It must be broken down so that from its ruins, a new, deep, steady, and authoritative voice can be born. This new voice isn't just about making a different sound. It's the voice required to protect, to lead, and to take a rightful, strong place in the community. And this brings us to a really vital realization about the world we live in today. In our modern era, young men very often lack meaningful spiritual mentors. They lack true, structured guidance on what maturity actually means and how to step into it. Because of this modern void, the voice-breaking phase can leave them feeling profoundly isolated, insecure, and deeply inclined to withdraw. When a boy's voice betrays him in the middle of a math class, there's no tribal elder standing there to tell him that his primal masculine energy is awakening. Instead, there's just the laughter of his peers. It is absolutely vital that society begins to understand and honor this physical shift as the sacred threshold it actually is, rather than turning it into some cheap joke that leaves young men doubting their own strength just as it's beginning to bloom. Ultimately, this is a journey of discovering the inner voice. For the teenagers navigating this right now and for the parents watching them cross this threshold, this awkward transition is in reality a deeply important phase. It's the challenging, messy process of mastering a brand new primal power. You are discovering your true inner voice. So how do we actually navigate this beautifully messy phase? Well, I want to offer a gentle mind-body exercise to help release that trapped tension and awkwardness. When you feel that crack coming, or when you get the urge to just hide in silence, first, intentionally relax your chest. Just accept this transition as a gift of time. Take a second to breathe deeply, drawing air all the way down into your core, not just shallowly up in your chest. As you prepare to speak, imagine connecting that breath and sound directly to your throat chakra, the energy center of communication and truth in your body. Let the vibration just sit there comfortably. By breathing into this space, you release the physical anxiety wrapping around your vocal cords, which allows you to learn to speak with authentic confidence, and most importantly, a deep inner compassion for your own changing self. I really want to leave you with this thought. The essence of growing up is not about being flawless from day one. It's about learning to be gentle and patient with the absolute clumsiest transformations of your own body. This inconvenience of a cracking voice, it lasts only a few short months. But beneath the surface, that temporary chaos is weaving a steady shoulder, a courageous heart, and a voice that will eventually be filled with protective, nurturing energy for the rest of your life. It is the truest foundation of manhood being laid down one awkward note at a time. So we've explored the biology of the expanding larynx, the beautifully tuned cello strings of our anatomy, and the deep psychological initiation that requires the childhood voice to shatter. Now, I want to hear from you. How did you navigate the journey of your own breaking voice? Did you retreat into silence, or did you actually have someone help you understand the profound transition you were going through? Share your story in the comments below, because it really reminds us that on this long journey of self-mastery, we are all walking together. And as you reflect on that, ask yourself this: what other awkward physical transitions in our lives might actually be nature's secret rituals, quietly preparing us for our most powerful selves? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.